On November 18, 2025, at 11:28 UTC, a fifth of the internet started throwing errors. X, ChatGPT, Spotify, Canva, Coinbase, all of them, at the same minute. The error was an HTTP 500. Internal server error. If you opened your laptop that morning, you saw it everywhere. And this is the bit that still gets me. Cloudflare's own engineers, the people whose entire job is stopping attacks, looked at the dashboard and thought they were under the largest distributed denial of service attack anyone had ever seen. They were wrong. No attacker, no hacker, no botnet. The whole thing started with one engineer changing a single database permission and one line of code that said, unwrap. By the end of this, you will be able to walk the entire chain yourself, because every link in it is a mistake your own systems are probably making right now. Let me draw what was actually serving your traffic that day. When you load a site behind Cloudflare, your request does not go straight to the origin. It hits one of their edge servers first. That edge runs a proxy, and inside that proxy sits a stack of jobs. One of them is bot management. Its whole purpose is to score every request and decide, is this a human or a bot? To do that, it loads a machine learning model, and that model needs a list of features to look at. That list lives in a file. Cloudflare calls it the feature file. It gets regenerated automatically and pushed out to every edge server every few minutes, so the scoring always uses fresh data. Hold on to that. A config file generated by a machine pushed globally every 5 minutes. That is the bomb. We just have not lit it yet. Almost every engineer makes one quiet assumption here. I did for years. We treat input from users as dangerous. We sanitize it, we validate it, we put limits on it. A form field, an API request, an upload. We never trust those. But config that our own systems generate? That feels safe. It came from our own database, our own pipeline, so we assume it is well-formed. The Cloudflare feature file was exactly that. Trusted internal data nobody validated before shipping it to every server on the planet. Because why would internal config ever be malformed? That assumption is the whole problem. Machine-generated config is still input. And input you do not check will bite you eventually. Always. So what actually changed that morning? An engineer made a routine change to permissions on their ClickHouse database. ClickHouse is the analytics database generating that feature file. The change made table access explicit, normally a good, safe cleanup. But there was a query that built the feature file, and it asked the database, give me the names and types of all the columns in the table called HTTP request features. The problem was that query did not say which database those columns should come from. It was unscoped. Before, it only saw one copy of those columns, from the default database. After, the same query could suddenly see a second database, the one Cloudflare calls R0, holding a duplicate copy of the same table. So now the query returned every column name twice. The metadata doubled. And nothing in the pipeline noticed, because returning more rows is not an error. It is just more rows. Now the doubled file lands on the edge servers. And here we meet the second mistake. And it is a beautiful one because it was made years earlier by careful engineers doing the right thing. The proxy that uses this file, the one Cloudflare calls FL2, does not read the features lazily. For speed, it pre-allocates memory up front for the features it expects. And to bound that memory, someone set a hard cap. 200 features. Maximum. In normal operation, the system used around 60. So 200 felt enormous, more than 3 times the normal load, far more than anyone thought they would ever need. That cap sat there quietly for years, which is exactly why it was dangerous. A limit you never hit is a limit you never actually test. Then the feature file doubled, sailed straight past 200 and stepped on the mine. Here is the explosion. The proxy is written in Rust. In Rust, when an operation can fail, it hands you back a thing called a result. Either OK with your value or with an error. The language is forcing you to ask, what do I do if this fails? And the answer the code gave was the worst possible one. It called .unwrap. Unwrap means give me the value, and if it is an error instead, panic. Crash the thread. So when the oversized file pushed the feature count past that 200 cap, the operation returned an error. The code unwrapped it, and the worker thread, named FL2 worker thread, panicked. The exact message was, called result unwrap on an error value. That panic killed the thread that serves requests. And because the bad file shipped to every edge server on the planet, the same crash fired everywhere at once. That is the moment a fifth of the internet went to HTTP 500. Now it gets worse, and honestly, weirder. Remember that the feature file regenerated every 5 minutes. The database had a mix of nodes. Some had the permission change applied, some did not yet. So when the file got generated on a good node, it came out normal-sized and the edge recovered. 5 minutes later, it regenerated on a bad node, came out doubled, and the edge crashed again. Good file, bad file, good file, bad file. The whole internet was flickering on and off in 5-minute waves. Now put yourself in the on-call seat. Your global network is going up and down in a rhythm. What does that look like? It looks exactly like an attack. That is why Cloudflare's first instinct was a record-breaking DDoS. Their own config disguised the cause for hours. This is the meta lesson nobody talks about. The hardest part of an outage is often not fixing it. It is seeing what it even is. So how do you actually prevent this? 3 fixes, and they map straight onto the 3 mistakes. First, the unwrap. In a hot path, on data you derived from somewhere else, you almost never want unwrap. You want to handle the error. Don't crash. Log it loudly and fall back to the last known good file. And if bot scoring itself is broken, fail open. Skip the scoring and let traffic through. A degraded site that loads beats a perfect bot score on a site nobody can reach. Second, validate the config before you propagate it. Check the file is a sane size before pushing it anywhere. Treat that machine-generated file like untrusted input because it is. Third, the global push. Pushing one config to your entire fleet in one shot means your blast radius is the entire fleet. 3 fixes, 3 mistakes. Now the part that is actually hard. Fail open is not free, and anyone who tells you to always fail open has not run a security product. Bot management blocks attackers, so if you fail open on the bot scorer, you are saying, when my bot detection breaks, let everyone through, including the bots. For a login page protecting bank accounts, that might be exactly the wrong call. There you may want to fail closed and reject traffic rather than let credential stuffing through. So fail open versus fail closed is not a rule. It is a decision you make per component, based on what is worse, being down or being wrong. And that cap of 200? Pre-allocating memory against a fixed limit is a real technique. It is not stupid. The mistake was that hitting it crashed instead of degraded, and that nobody alerted when usage crept toward it. Good engineering is rarely the safe option. It is picking the failure you can actually live with. So how do the big players handle config at this scale when they get it right? The pattern has a name. Staged, versioned rollout with automatic rollback. You never push config to your whole fleet at once. You push it to a canary, 1%, often a single data center first. You watch the error rate on that slice. If 500 spike there, it auto-rolls back before anyone wakes up. Cloudflare committed to exactly this after the incident, treating internal config the way they treat code deploys, with kill switches to instantly revert a bad feature file. Google's SRE teams call the broader idea blast radius containment. No single change, code, or config should be able to take down everything at the same instant. The lesson of November 18 is not that Cloudflare is careless. They are one of the best in the world. The lesson is that a global instant push is a single point of failure dressed up as a routine update. Let me put the whole chain back together, because once you see it as one line, you will never unsee it. A permission change made a query unscoped. The unscoped query returned duplicate rows from a second database. The duplicates doubled a config file. The doubled file blew past a 200 feature limit set years ago. Hitting that limit returned an error. A dot unwrap on that error panicked the worker thread. The worker thread died on every server because the file was pushed globally. And the whole thing flapped every 5 minutes, so it looked like an attack. 7 links. Pull out any single one and there is no outage. Validate the config, no outage. Handle the error instead of unwrap, no outage. Canary the rollout. The blast radius is 1%, no outage. That is what a real postmortem teaches you. It is never one person who messed up. It is that one weak link should never take down the whole chain. If walking through that chain felt good, that is exactly how I teach the whole thing on System Design Academy. Not slides reading definitions at you, but real failures like this one, drawn out step by step, plus interactive diagrams and quizzes so it actually sticks. Fail open versus fail closed, blast radius, canary rollouts, config as untrusted input, they are all in there as full lessons. It is a one-time payment. 299 rupees in India, $5 everywhere else. Yours for life, no subscription. The first 11 lessons are free, so you can try my teaching style before you pay. The link is in the description and pinned in the comments. If this helped, leave a comment with the worst outage you have lived through. I read them, and the best one might become the next video. Thanks for watching, and go validate your config.